welcome you today for the first ever Louie Malathi International Scientific Prize for Agriculture and Food. Agropolis Fondation, the French Foundation for Agricultural Science and Sustainable Development, established in 2007, created this prize as a tribute to this French agronomist, agroeconomist, and ardent supporter of farmer cause in the world. Most of you will ask, who is Louie Malathi? Louie Malathi founded Agropolis in 1986. This international campus in Montpellier groups together research organizations and universities in agriculture. Today, this campus is home of one of the largest concentrations of scientific skills and expertise in agriculture, food, and environment. Louie Malathi founded also in 1992 Agropolis Museum, which is a cultural link between the scientific research community and the public. Born in a modest family of farmers in Brittany, France, in 1918, Louie Malathi remained faithful to the agriculture throughout his lifetime. He studied at the National School of Agriculture in Rennes. With a PhD in economics, Louie Malathi was professor of rural economy. He served as Director General for Research and Education in the French Ministry of Agriculture, as well as Director of the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute in Montpellier. He was also advisor to several agriculture ministers. Louie Malathi authored a number of publications, including the famous L'épopée inachevée des paysans du monde, a book narrating the continuous quest of the farmers of the world. Agropolis Foundation shares the same vision, values, and objectives promoted by Louie Malathi, notably in terms of promoting knowledge sharing and socially responsible agriculture throughout the world through research, education, and international cooperation. As such, it was natural for us to launch this prize, conferred once every 2 years. We are thankful that for this first edition, the prize was supported by the Languedoc-Roussillon region. And we are also very pleased that, as well, this year's award ceremony coincides with the first GCARD. I would like to greet Jean and Michel Malassis, children of Louie Malathi, who are with us tonight. And I will turn over the floor to Anne-Lucie Vac, Director of Agropolis Foundation, to tell you more about the prize. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me now give you very brief information about the prize categories and also the prize nomination and selection process. So the prize consists of 2 categories. First is distinguished scientists, for those with at least 15 years of professional experience. And the second one is the category for promising scientists, for those who are under 40 years old and have at least 5 years of professional experience. The winners of this prize in each category will receive a 20,000 euro prize, as well as a trophy which was made by a local artist, Laurence Bourgeois, and a diploma. About the nomination and selection process now. To be eligible, the candidates should be nominated by organizations such as ministries or academic or research organizations, public or private, by private companies, by civil society organizations. And the candidates were selected by an international and independent jury, which were composed of international individuals, recognized for their contribution in food and agricultural research and development, and also recognized for their knowledge of international issues. And this jury was chaired for this first edition of the prize by Guido Grissels, who is the Director General of the Royal Museum for Central Africa in Belgium, Tervuren. So now I'm very pleased to call on Guido Grissels for the announcement of this year's winner.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I must say I felt truly honored when I received the invitation extended by the Agropolis Foundation to serve as this year chair of the jury of the Louie Malathi International Scientific Prize. I'd like to say a little anecdote. After my studies in Belgium, I went to Australia to study at the University of New England to study agricultural economics. And the first textbook that I received was a book by Louie Malassis, Agriculture and Economic Growth. And that book has touched me so deeply that it's really been the centerpiece of my entire scientific career later on. So I was very touched when I was asked to be the chair of the jury of this prize. Now, the 2010 prize jury composed of 9 eminent scientists from all over the world. And we did have a very difficult task of selecting this year's winners from a highly interesting, diverse, and impressive set of nominees. The nominees were evaluated and selected on the basis of scientific quality of the work of the nominee, the impact of his or her contribution to sustainable development, and the quality of partnerships and established, notably with the civil society, such as non-government organizations, farmers and producers' organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, I will now be announcing the 2010 Louie Malathi International Scientific Prize for Agriculture and Food Awardees. Now, we've kept the names top secret so far. I think it will be a surprise to many. So I will keep the surprise till the end and start by describing the profile of those people who have ultimately been selected. I'll start with the category of the Young Promising Scientist category. This year's winner is a highly motivated young scientist. Her work as a plant pathologist is focused on most important diseases that attack cassava and potato, studying the genetic and phenotypic diversity of the pathogens and their molecular interactions with their hosts. She is constantly in search of alternative methods of disease control, such as the use of natural compounds produced by enemies of pathogens. At the same time, she established close contact with Colombian farmers, thus allowing her to better understand issues they face, the limitations and strengths of Colombian agriculture that could be addressed and harnessed to improve production. Our awardee is also a passionate teacher. She gives courses on basic sciences, cellular biology, plant pathology, and so on, both at the undergraduate and graduate levels. She carries weekly discussions with her students on assigned research articles. Born in 1970 in Bogota, she obtained her undergraduate degree in her native country in 1992. She moved to Paris in 1994 and obtained her MSc and PhD degrees at the University of Pierre and Marie Curie. Currently, the awardee is an associate professor at the University of Los Andes in Bogota. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 Louie Malathi Young Promising Scientist Awardees is Dr. Silvia Restrepo.
Well, thank you. I have a little speech, a very short one. I would like to first thank the director of Agropolis Foundation and Lucy Vac, the members of the jury, and all of you. It's a real honor to be here today receiving this prize. And for me, I consider this prize a recognition to all the farmers working in Latin America. Especially in Colombia, sometimes we have to work in extreme conditions, security extreme conditions. So also, science has made important progresses in developing countries, but we still have a long way to reach sustainability in agriculture. This prize also contributes to my research, my work in my own research and training of young scientists, even younger than me, who are trained in the university and will be tomorrow working in those fields in Latin America and probably all over the world. So thank you very much, and I'm really, really honored. I would like to thank the Malassis, Louie Malathi, and the Malassis family also for being here with me today. Thank you very much.
You need to come here for a photo again because we are
Okay, I will now announce the winner in the Distinguished Scientist category. And the career of this year's Louie Malathi International Scientific Prize Distinguished Scientist Awardee. He has been driven by his determination to see science applied for the benefit to the poor and the hungry. This led him to seek his activities in farmers' fields in developing countries. His most extensive work in agronomy deals with the development and extension of bed planting technologies for both irrigated and rain-fed cropping systems. He first implemented permanent bed planting methods for wheat in Mexico and further demonstrated their high efficiency, 20 to 40% decrease of irrigation water use, 10% decrease of nitrogen fertilizer use, minimizing erosion and increasing soil fertility. Our awardee has traveled extensively all over the world to train both farmers and agronomists and help them implement these new technologies. As a result of his tireless efforts, these methods are now widely used in many Latin American, African and Central Asian countries, as well as in India and in China. He is also deeply involved in conservation agriculture, conducting field experiments in Mexico and delivering many international courses. Born in 1945 in Delta, Colorado, he obtained his PhD in plant breeding with minors in physiology and pathology at Cornell University in 1971. He worked for various CGIARD centers and is currently the regional agronomist for Asia of the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center in Mexico, CIMMYT. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Distinguished Scientist Award goes to Dr. Ken Sayre.
This is a tremendous honor for me and for all the people that I have been working with over the past 40 years in international agriculture. I thank the Agropolis Foundation for this opportunity to be here, for the award, and of course the family of Louie Malathi. Winning an award like this certainly is nothing that someone does on their own. And I have had the privilege over the last 40 years, almost 40 years, of working with a number of institutions, collaborating with a number perhaps too large a number, sometimes my wife would say, of national organizations, and it has been a privilege to work with all of these colleagues. The last 25 years I have worked with the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, CIMMYT, based in Mexico, and so that wonderful experience of working with all of the colleagues, and especially having the opportunity to interact with literally hundreds of young scientists that have come for our in-service training courses has been one of the highlights of the work that I have been involved in. But in all these 40 years, I think it took me probably the first 15 years to realize that the true partner that we really must work with are the farmers. And it's, looking back with hindsight, it's a little bit embarrassing that it took me 15 years to really figure that out. But since that point, my main focus has been trying to interact and learn from farmers. And I think these are the individuals that deserve this award. I've always felt that we as scientists must learn to be better farmers, but also we must help farmers become better scientists. And that, I think, is the goal of what all of us should be doing. I also want to thank my family. Those of us that had the wonderful opportunity to work with Dr. Norman Borlaug at CIMMYT were inoculated with the vaccination that said you don't make very much progress staying at home. And so over these 40 years, I've been traveling a lot. And this has been a blessing in disguise for me, but it has been sometimes a burden on the family, and I want to thank very much my family for all of the time that I was away, and especially my wife for taking care of the kids when I was not there to help. Thank you very much.
Again. Okay. Together. Okay. I would like to congratulate again the awardees. Allow me to thank very warmly Guido for having chaired this international panel and the panel members who did an excellent work. I would like also to thank all the Agropolis Foundation team that made this prize possible, and to greet again Louie Malathi family. I would like now to give the floor to Cathy Sayre for the ceremony of the CGR Awards. Cathy.